Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Pet Sematary 2, starring Edward Furlong, Anthony Edwards, Clancy Brown, Jared Rushton, Darlene Flugel, excuse me very much, and Michael Lombard, and directed by Mary Lambert. Why a sequel? I don't know. Let's get into this thing. Renee Hallow, played by Darlene Flugel, is an actress filming a movie, and his son Jeff Matthews, played by Edward Furlong, who I'll be seeing again later this year when I get to, as he's on set and he sees his mother electrocuted, what a traumatic thing to see at his age. And let's just say it now, Edward Furlong is really bad in this movie. Jeff's father, Chase, played by Anthony Edwards, lives in a small town to ask Jeff to live with him, and at a funeral, Gus Gilbert, played by Clancy Brown, who's the sheriff in town, and he looks like a despicable pig, and is saying deepest regrets, and let's face it, these scenes are bad. Ugh. Jeff moves on into his place in the small town and goes with his father to his new workplace, where Jeff finds adorable kittens and works around the place and keeps a kitten wasn't cute until a dog named Zowie and the owner Drew, played by Jason McGuire, and his stepfather Gus, but the dog chases the little kitten, and I'm like, the cats and the dog, but the acting in these early scenes are horrendous, especially when we get to the end of this movie. Jeff arrives at his school and brings the cat, and some school bullies steal the cat to the pet cemetery that was in the first film and traps it in a cage. And I'm looking at those bullies like, you dumb fuckers, you beat up Jeff and call him an asshole. I'm like, you cocksucking motherfuckers. But these scenes are horrible, particularly since the bully traps the cat at the cemetery in the cage, and I felt so bad for the pet cat, which I have to confess, I'm a huge animal lover, and if they kill an innocent animal or do any harm to them that's on screen, I turn against your movie. Bottom line. And Gus is rather abusive to Drew just to get his mom, and I thought these characters are horrible. I'm not liking every minute of this movie. Gus shoots Zowie, and Drew is sad about it, and because I hate Gus so badly, and because he shot the dog. And I'm turning against this movie because he didn't do a damn thing wrong, the dog I'm talking about. And I'm waiting for Gus to die at this point, because that character is a sadistic son of a bitch that I wanted to shoot that fucker. And now I'm hating this movie more than any movie in general. But Drew buries the dog to the place that she can be resurrected in the first film. And it reminds me, why is there a sequel to Pet Sematary? It's beyond me. Zowie is alive and not herself, and she's taken to the vet. And Jeff and his father come to the rescue and take Zowie to Jeff's house to help him stay alive, and there's no heartbeat, and these scenes are pretentious. Drew and Jeff go to a Halloween place to hang out, and Gus finds out because he grounded Drew for lying to him about his dog getting buried, and Gus punches Drew, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And Zowie bites his neck off, and I'm glad he's dead, but he'll be resurrected, and I'm pissed. That asshole should have stayed dead. Zowie eats the kittens, and now I'm more pissed because we've got 40 more minutes of this pile of shit. Then we move on to a man who stuffs animals, who was in the first film, I guess, but don't remember a minute, to a more disturbing scene with Gus killing and tearing off the skin and eats the rabbits that he likes to keep in his backyard. And I wanted to turn this thing off to this point. I was disgusted by this movie. But I finished it for the show, and I watched this thing twice. Oh God, I'm gonna regret that. And I'm not on the happy, and I'm not too happy about that. And Gus makes a silly face with his mouth wide open, which is the stupidest scene in the movie. And Zowie bites Jeff's father, and that was just baloney for me. It's almost like the Baloney Man could have made this movie. The bully goes after Jeff on a motorcycle and almost kills him with a tire just to fuck with him. And Gus comes in to do the same thing with the bully, but actually kills him. And this entire movie is, to me, is getting worse and worse every minute. Drew and his mother get attacked by Gus, and Gus runs them over with a truck. And both Drew and his mother are dead, and takes the bully's body to the neighborhood of the resurrection. And I'm like, shit. This movie is going that route? Really? Now it's 10 times worse than the original. Jeff's father gets bitten again, how repetitive, but is still alive and sees Gus, and they fight, and Gus drills briefly on the wound of the father of Jeff, shoots Gus, and I'm like, good fucking riddance. Meanwhile, their housekeeper, Marjorie, wears Renee's dress, which totally a stupid move, by the way, and Renee kills off Marjorie, and Jeff sees his mother alive again, and Chase, the father, comes back and finds Renee resurrected. Jeff is with her, who's looking a little like a demon. Then the bully comes back to kill Jeff, and Jeff kills the bully, and again, good fucking riddance. But Renee is trying to kill Jeff and Chase, but they get out of scot-free, and this movie is over, and it's about fucking time. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 1.0 out of 10. This is the worst thing of an adaptation of Stephen King ever. I hate the characters, I hate the plot, and early and often it's getting 10 times worse, and wanted to turn this damn thing off. Now I'm more nervous about the remake than I was last week. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next week I will be back with the remake. And until next time, sometimes dead is better.